Squash vine borers are such a massive problem for us gardeners in the southeast. This is what the larvae look like, and this is what they do to your plants. The plants will be fine one day, and then they will start to wilt and collapse all of a sudden. Once this happens, it's simply too late. Here on the screen, I've got my supplies listed. I use Safer Brand Caterpillar Killer. I use a syringe, usually about 18-22 gauge. Within that range, you need a jar to mix your BT into. And here on the Safer brand, you'll see the active ingredient is BT. This is a bacteria species that kills caterpillars through biological control. When they eat the toxin that is produced by this bacteria, the caterpillar stops eating and it eventually dies. When the caterpillar stops eating, this is when the damage to your plants stops. For the needles, you don't want something that is too thin, like a needle that's commonly used for insulin. Those will just bend. They will bend, they will break, don't use those. If the needle's too big, it's just going to get clogged up more easily with vine material. So if you stab that needle into the vine, it'll clog up the needle with tissue from the plant. I go for 18-22 gauge. They're strong, and it's also what I typically keep on hand for my goats. The whole process is really simple. Mix your BT according to the directions on the bottle. It's usually just mixing the BT with water, and you do that inside of your jar. Next, you're just gonna go and inject your plants. This is the damage you're typically looking for to be able to diagnose borers before they kill your plants. If you see this and you open up the vine, you will see borers. You do not have to open up the vine. I did in this video just so you can see the borer in action. This little tool that I'm using, I've been using that to put holes into the vine and then I inject them. I learned this trick from someone else. It was a smart suggestion. You don't have to deal with any more clogged needles if you do it this way. If you do not have a tool to do this with, or even a nail, you can still just inject the vines with your needle. But this will save you on the needle getting clogged, which is incredibly annoying. The way that these borers kill your squash plant is that they eat the internal tissues of the squash vine, all of the important vascular tissue. They cut the plant off from the root system, keeping it from absorbing nutrients and water. So it's almost as if you took pruners and just cut the vine and left it laying there. It is pretty much impossible to treat these borers from the outside. The only thing that you can do is inject BT into the vines, remove the borers by hand, which is not effective around here because dozens will infect a single plant. By the time you cut the plant open so many times to retrieve the borers, you're gonna kill it just from cutting it. You can also use conventional pesticides to get rid of the moth, but I'm sure most of you are looking for a more organic method, which is what this is. I'll pick up on that again in a moment, but for now I'm going to go ahead and go over the injection procedure. I like to inject every few inches to get the bacteria evenly distributed throughout the plant. A common misconception is that the moth only lays eggs at the base of the plant. This is not true. They will lay eggs all over the plant, from the top of the leaves to just above the roots. Always inject your older leaves as well. One of these leaves, I believe the one I'm messing with right here, had a borer inside of it, so they do not live in just the main vine. They will get into the leaf stems, and that's no big deal if they're inside of a leaf stem because that will not kill the plant, but they could burrow down from the leaf stem into the main stem. So if you have a leaf that is older than a week old, I would inject those along with the main vine. Do this every few inches. So now that we know how to inject the vines, how often do we do it? You're going to have to schedule injections. This is going to have to be done every 7 to 10 days because the BT becomes inactive after about 48 hours. You don't need continuous coverage, but you're going to want to catch every larva that get into the vine, and you don't want them to get very old or very large before they ingest the toxin from the bacteria. Tiny borers are not going to cause very much damage. It's the larger ones that'll take your plant down quickly. And if you have a lot of them, it's even worse. I also like to try to get some BT on the exterior of the plant, just in an effort to try to catch some of the tiny larvae before they even make it into the vine. So let's do a quick recap. Put holes into the vine, inject BT every 7 to 10 days, due to the lifespan of the product. BT is injected into every older leaf stem, and it is injected every few inches along the main vine. Spraying along the outside of the vine or just spritzing it with your syringe is a great way to help prevent some young larvae from burrowing into the plant. You can usually stop injecting about 2 weeks before you plan to quit harvesting, so if your plants are getting older or if the weather's going to change, I just would not stress during those last few weeks. Now that we've gone over the basic injection process, let's talk a little bit more about the squash vine borer's behaviors and about other alternative control measures, such as physical barriers. The squash vine borer moth emerges from a cocoon underground in late spring and early summer. You can use a pheromone trap to detect when moths are actively reproducing, alerting you that females are beginning to lay eggs on plants. These are the same traps that people assume will help them to control squash vine borers, however they simply attract the males. So while they can produce a number of adult males, they will not capture egg-laying females. When the females lay eggs, they typically lay them one at a time, usually on a stem. However, I find these eggs all over the plants, leaves, leaf stems, and all along the main vine. Sometimes you'll find more than one egg nearby, but usually the moth will lay the eggs one at a time on different stems. It takes about 10 days for the eggs to hatch, and they immediately burrow into the squash vines. It takes about 25 to 27 days for the larva to complete the larval stage, at which point they exit the plant, burrow into the soil, and pupate. They will then appear the following spring or summer. Supposedly, we have 2 generations in my area, but the vines seem to get attacked no matter where we are in the growing season though. In cooler climates, there's usually 1 generation, so it's a little easier to get around them. It's important to know the behaviors and the life cycle of the vine borer so that you can modify your pest control program based upon their behavior in your area. Physical barriers can be an important part of your squash management program, and I'm not talking about vet wrap, nylon pantyhose, foil on the vines, anything like that, as they do not keep moths from laying eggs on leaves or leaf stems. I'm more so referring to row covers. I've also used mesh laundry bags for this purpose. If you keep your squash vines under cover until they begin blooming, you can avoid the borers for the first 4 to 6 weeks of growth. You could also keep your vines under cover permanently, but you will have to hand pollinate female flowers every morning. Another option is to release pollinators into your row cover. I hear that blue bottle flies are supposed to be great for this purpose, but I haven't had an opportunity to put them to the test. The biggest issue with keeping squash vines covered is that they do not produce fruit if they are not pollinated. If you're excluding squash vine borer moths, then most other pollinators will be excluded as well. Now I want to discuss the 2 main ways that I primarily manage squash vine borer issues now. Spoiler, I don't. The more unconventional method that I've been using since last year is chaos gardening in a goat pasture. Pretty unconventional, right? I go in, I throw summer squash seeds everywhere, and I allow my goats to graze heavily, getting the forage under control. While grazing, the goats are stomping the seeds into the soil. After several days, the goats are removed. 2 to 3 weeks later, they're reintroduced to weed around the squash vines, as they don't eat them. My goats do not like squash vines, and they leave them completely alone. This results in lots of plants in a small area with a huge initial harvest, and I do not have to weed them. I also do not inject them. I let the plants go down as they will. I trade labor in weeding and injecting for an increase in seed cost. To be honest though, I can buy large packs of squash seed at our local co-op for about $2 or $3 on clearance in the fall. For a mere $6, I have about 1,000 squash seeds that I can chaos garden with. And let me tell you, the yields are incredibly high with this method. The second method that I use is growing resistant varieties. I grow a lot of resistant squash plants so that I do not have to inject my squash vines all the time. Most resistant varieties are winter squash varieties, but they are harvested while they are green. Lots of winter squash varieties can be harvested green and used just like summer squash. Even green pumpkins can be used this way. Rampicante squash and Tatume squash have been my favorites. Tatume is excellent on the grill too. So to wrap up this video, in conclusion, the best way to control the squash vine borer is to use traps to identify when the moths are actively reproducing, to cover your plants until the female blossoms appear. Then when it's time to remove the row cover, implementing an injection schedule of every 7 to 10 days, preferably 5 to 7, but no later than 10. Once the plants have kind of went past their prime as far as production goes, or if you know you won't need any more summer squash after about 2 weeks, you can stop injecting and just let the plant coast along. Usually your plant will live for at least 2 more weeks, sometimes longer, depending on the vine borers in your area. But it's not necessary to inject until the point in time where you'd like to stop harvesting. This method has given me a 100% success rate, but only if I'm rigid with my schedule and I'm thorough. This is time consuming. You will have to implement a schedule. It's a little labor intensive, but it works. The 2 workarounds that work the best for me don't apply to everybody. For example, growing resistant varieties. Well, someone may be very picky about their varieties. They may want a very particular type of crookneck squash or zucchini, and the resistant varieties that you harvest green may not cut it for those people. So in that case, this method is the gold standard in my opinion. This is the best way to manage them without spraying them with something a lot more heavy duty, if you will. My other alternative also is not widely available to most gardeners. If you don't have a few goats, or if you're not a goat farmer, then you're not going to have the goats at your disposal to manage your squash plants. And unfortunately, this goat method that I completely accidentally stumbled upon has been my absolute favorite because it requires the least amount of time, the least amount of labor. I don't even have to till before I plant, and I get a massive harvest. I can't even remember how I accidentally had squash growing in the pasture, but I did, and I learned a valuable lesson in working smarter and not harder. It's been a few years since I initially released my squash vine borer injection video, so I thought it was a great idea to update it. If it was helpful, please like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to join our Facebook group, come follow our Instagram, join our newsletter. I'm giving away seeds in the Facebook group this year, and via the newsletter, there are going to be free documents that you can download and print for your home garden binder. At this moment in time, you get a seed viability chart PDF, so that's helpful to keep around your seed stash so that you know whether or not an older seed is going to germinate for you. Thank you all so much for stopping and watching my video, and I hope you have a great day and a stellar squash harvest.